Hello students, here we have a question of JEE Advanced 2021 from the topic straight line. The question is we have two straight lines and for some fixed constant lambda, C is the locus of point P such that the product of distance from P from the line 1 and line 2 is lambda square. And there is another line which meets this curve C at 2 points R and S where the distance between RS is given. Then we need to find lambda square, first thing. Second, the perpendicular bisector of RS meets the curve C at 2 points R dash S dash. Then D is the square of the distance between R dash S dash. We have to find that D. So let us start solving this question from finding this locus of P. So locus of P is a point such that product of distance. First of all, we will assume P to be H comma K. Now the distance of P from the line 1, let's say D1. So D1 is H root 2 plus K minus 1 divided by root over 2 plus 1, 3. Similarly, D2 is the distance I am assuming of the point P from the line 2. That is mod of H root 2 minus K plus 1 divided by root 3. Now their product is given as lambda square. So D1 into D2 is lambda square. So let's do the product here. One thing I can do over here is this minus, if I take common, it will be K minus 1. And why am I doing is because now it will be A plus B into A minus B. So D1 into D2 is now H root 2 whole square. That is 2H square minus K minus 1 whole square and divided by 3 equal to lambda square. So finally this curve we are getting is, let's replace H comma K by X comma Y. So this is now 2X square minus Y minus 1 whole square equal to 3 lambda square. So this is our curve C. Now the next thing the question is saying is, there is this line which meets this C at 2 points R and S and the distance between them is given and we need to find lambda. So that means we need to solve this curve C with this line to get the points R and S, and then we have to apply the distance formula. Okay, now? So let us solve here. So y is equal to given 2x plus 1. And we have to solve this with this curve. So what I am saying is, here is this term y minus 1. So y minus 1, I can write 2x. Now let us substitute in the curve C. That will give us 2x square. Actually, if you see, the distances were modulus. So actually it's in modulus. Mod of this. So now this is mod of 2x square minus y minus 1 value is 2x. Its square will be 4x square equal to 3 lambda square. So that is now 2x square is equal to 3 lambda square. So I got x value as plus minus root over 3 by 2 times lambda. So here we got the two values of x. What are those? Those are the x coordinate of the point of intersection whose name they have mentioned R and S. So here x1 I got, let us assume, is root over plus root over 3 by 2 lambda, and x2 let's say is root over 3 by 2 lambda with a minus sign. Now what is x1, x2? If you assume R as x1 comma y1 and S as x2 comma y2, so this is x1 and x2 we have got here. Now as we know that R and S is the point of intersection of the curve and the line. So this point is lying on both the curve and the line. So it will satisfy their equation. So this point will satisfy the equation of the line as well as the curve. So I'll try to substitute in the equation of the line. Equation of line is y equal to 2x plus 1. So if I'll put here 1 means y1 x1, that is y1 equal to 2x1 plus 1, and y2 will be equal to 2x2 plus 1. All right. Now the distance between R and S, we can use the distance formula. is given already, if you see, is root 270. So root 270 is equal to root over 270 is equal to distance between r and s, that is under root of x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. Now here y1, y2 we have written now. This, let us substitute here. So root over x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 will be 2 times x1 minus x2. So its square will be 4 times x1 minus x2 square. Now squaring both sides, we get 270 equal to 5 times x1 minus x2 whole square. And x1, x2 we got here. We have already this x1 and x2. So x1 minus x2 will be 2 times root 3 by root 2 into lambda, which will be root 6 into lambda. So this is now 275 divided by 5 is 5 5s are 25, 5 4s are 20. And x1 minus x2 we got root 6 lambda. So its square will be 6 lambda square. So lambda square we got is 9 6 are 54. Lambda square we got is 9. This is the first answer of the question. So lambda square value is 9. Now coming to the second question of this. Second part of this question is, now let the perpendicular bisector of RS meets this curve C at two distinct points R dash and S dash. So D is the square of the distance between R dash and S dash. So first of all, we have to write perpendicular bisector of RS. So RS means R and S are the 2 points which are lying on the line, this given line, as we have discussed right now. So actually, the slope of the RS is this 2. So what will be the slope of the perpendicular bisector? With m1, m2 minus 1, the slope of the perpendicular bisector will be minus 1 by 2. Let's name that line as the line joining the points R dash and S dash. So we are talking now about R dash S dash. So its slope we have got as minus 1 by 2. All right. And perpendicular bisector means if this is your RS, so their perpendicular bisector, we have some points R dash S dash. So perpendicular bisector means this line R dash S dash is perpendicular to RS, the first point. Second point, it is bisecting RS, means at M. M is the midpoint of RS, which will be the passing point for R dash S dash. So can we find the midpoint of R and S? Yes, already we have assumed here this R and S as x1, y1, comma x2, y2. So their midpoint we can calculate as x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And why am I calculating this? Because this will be the passing point for R dash S dash, which is perpendicular bisector. All right. So x1, x2 we have already calculated, which is this here. Now we have to do the sum. Okay, so x1 plus x2 will be, I think, 0. So let us substitute 0 here. So m is 0, comma. What is y1 plus y2? So y1 plus y2 here will be 2x1 plus 2x2 and plus 2 divided by 2. Let me write here 2x1 plus 2x2 plus 2 divided by 2. All right. And x1 plus x2, we have just now seen it is 0. So actually the point M is 0, comma 2 by 2, which is 1. Now we got this coordinate M 0, comma 1. Can we write the equation of R dash S dash now? Yes, we have the slope, we have the passing point. So equation of R dash S dash we are going to write will be y minus y1 equal to mx minus x1. So now the equation of this line is 2y minus 2 and equal to minus x, which is x plus 2y minus 2 equal to 0. Now we have this equation R dash S dash. Further in the question, they have said that the perpendicular bisector of RS meets this curve C at 2 points R dash S dash. Means the points R dash S dash is intersection of perpendicular bisector and the curve C. So perpendicular bisector equation we got. This is your perpendicular bisector. And the curve also we have calculated. This is the curve here. This is your curve. So we have to solve these two to get the points R dash S dash. And then we have to calculate the square of the distance between R dash S dash. So let's start now. So here, let me rewrite this curve again, which is mod of 2x square. Curve C we are having is mod of 2x square minus y minus 1 whole square equal to 3 lambda square. Let me check once. Same, y minus 1 whole square. So now what we have to do is we have to solve this equation and this equation, curve C. And their point of intersection is now R dash S dash. And we have to calculate the distance between them. So actually in the question they mentioned D is the square of the distance between R dash S dash. So let us assume here that the points R dash S dash are R dash, let us say it is A1 comma B1, and S dash if you assume A2 comma B2. Okay now. So what is the distance between them? So distance, I mean, what is the D value? D value is the square of the distance here. That will be A1 minus A2 square plus B1 minus B2 square. Now these 2 points are the intersection of these two curves. So they are going to satisfy these two curves. And we have to solve these two curves to get this point of intersection. Let us try to get the point of intersection here. So from here, we can write the value of, I think, y minus 1. So y minus 1 is equal to minus x by 2. Let us substitute this in this curve C. So that will give us mod of 2x square minus y minus 1 whole square is now x square by 4 equal to 3 lambda square. We have the value of lambda square that we will be putting later on. So here this is 4 to the 8 minus 1 is 7x square divided by 4 equal to 3 lambda square. The values of x we are getting here is root 2 root 3 lambda divided by root 7 with plus minus. Now what are these x values? These are the values of x coordinate of r dash, which is a1, and s dash, which is a2. So let us assume that a1 is here 2 root 3 by root 7 lambda, and a2 is another value minus 2 root 3 by root 7 lambda. Okay now. So this is a1 and a2. And let us get the relation b1 minus b2 also. So what is b1, b2? These are the y coordinates of r dash, s dash. And again, they will satisfy both of these equations, the equation of the line and the curve equation. So I'm going to substitute in the line equation here, this one. So here y1 means b1. b1 minus 1 will be equal to minus a1 by 2, and a2, b2 we will substitute. So b2 minus 1 will be minus a2 by 2. Now the d value we have seen over here. It is a1 minus a2 square plus b1 minus b2 square. So let's try to find the value of a1 minus a2 and b1 minus b2. So from here, a1 minus a2 value is, it will be double now. So that will be 2 plus 2, 4 root 3 by root 7 lambda. And here b1 minus b2 value is, if you subtract these two, what you are going to have is a2 minus a1 by 2. And now putting back this value in this d. So d is now a1 minus a2 square plus b1 minus b2, we got a2 minus a1 whole square by 2 square, which is 4. Actually, a2 minus a1 square and a1 minus a2 square is the same thing. So this is now 4 and 5. 5 a1 minus a2 whole square divided by 4. This is your d value. Now let's substitute the a1 minus a2 value here. So this is 5 by 4, and square of this will be 16 into 3 by 7 into lambda square. And lambda square we already calculated. That was 9. Let us put back this value. So d value we are getting as 4 4s are 16. So 5 4s are 20 into 3 by 7 into 9. And that gives us 20 into 27 by 7. 20 into 27 is 540 divided by 7. 7 7s are 49 and 50. 7 7s are 49. 1 3 7 4s are 28. So approximately 77.14 we are getting the value of D, which is the answer of the second part of this question, 77.14. So this was a question from straight line from JEE Advanced 2021. Again, this question is not hard actually. It is of a moderate level if we solve very patiently. Like here, one more thing some students can do here. What the other thing the students can do is, if in the starting we will try to find the actual intersection, or let's suppose in the second part of the question, when you will try to find the actual point of intersection of this curve and this line, then the situation may get complex because the points will be irrational, and then the situation will or may be uh, quite complex. So if we assume like this the points and then put back the values, and if we use this, it is quite easier, what I feel. So hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.